didn't make a single dollar of profit and sold for $1 billion.
Right. And how many deals would you look at before you actually pull the trigger on one?
Not taking a risk in anything in life is the risk. Yeah. Brian, am I okay? I know I'm okay, but I want you to hold my hand and tell me I'm okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian Hogbin, and this is the Brick House Podcast, where our goal here is to elevate you financially and emotionally. And I've got my first guest here, Mr. Rich Spence.
Wow. First guest.
I
feel privileged.
Well, I was the first guest. It was like a solo show, but that's kind of weird.
Does that count? Yeah.
Not really. Not really.
Okay, I'll take first. Well, thanks
for coming, man.
Thanks,
I appreciate
buddy.
it. You're a busy guy,
Appreciate it.
A humble guy.
Thank you.
As well, too.
Thank you.
From Stony Creek.
Yes. Well, originally East End Hamilton, then Stony Creek, now Winona.
Oh, so I was going to ask you, because I'm a big Hamilton fan, Booster Hamilton. I love the city, love what's going on here now too. When you go out, if you're on the beach with your wife, Kathy, and someone says, where are you from? Would you say Stony Creek or would you say Hamilton?
No, you always start, first it's wherever you're traveling, I'm from Canada. And then they say where, and I said, do you know Toronto? And it says yeah, and then so it always goes Canada, Toronto, and then I said, do you know Ontario? And if they say yeah, I always say it's halfway between Toronto and Niagara. And if they say yes, I know the area. I said, well, right in the middle's St. Catharines. And if they know so I break it down that way.
Yeah,
right? So when you're traveling, you have to start large, right? Canada, Toronto, and then halfway between Toronto and Niagara.
You know what? I think, Rich, let's do something now. Okay, let's tell everybody right now. Say, listen, if you're from Hamilton, just say it. Just say I'm from Hamilton.
But they won't know.
I think they might now. We got the TD Coliseum now. Maybe they will.
Okay.
Rod Stewart's coming here. They might know.
Paul McCartney was here last week.
Paul McCartney was here?
Yes.
Paul McCartney knows where Hamilton is now.
And we won the 1987 Canada Cup at Copps Coliseum, which I was at that game.
Hallelujah.
I loved it. It was great.
So, Rich Spence.
Yes.
President of Mortgage Centers Canada, which we're a proud part of. Been building that for over 7 years.
I've been part of it for 7 years.
Part of it 7 years.
Mortgage Center Canada has been around for 36 years.
36 years.
Yeah.
But they've had a lot of growth in the past 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, they have.
Right? Part of the DLCG group, and I know Gary will be happy to know that, they fund more mortgages than any other lender in Canada.
Any other financial institution in Canada. We are double the size.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So, Rich, I think, when it comes down to Brick House, I look at you as a brick house, like a solid guy. And I want to look at, break it down to your childhood, Rich, when you were a kid. A little Rich running around, right?
Am I going to start crying on this podcast?
Hopefully, okay. But you know what? Like, you're a serial entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You're an author. You make time for the family. I know you're a great husband and you're a great father. Musician as well, too. And tell me, when did you get that entrepreneurial bug? And I'm curious when you started that sort of first business, or what that first business was that you started.
Well, entrepreneurial bug was my family, right? Like, I think it was subconsciously from birth. Is every single person in my family was an entrepreneur. Probably not my dad. My dad was more of that stable, go to work for Bell Canada for 30 years. But my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my uncles, every single one had a company.
Wow.
Right? So whether it was from construction to demolition to hairdressing to whatever, like they all had a company. My wife has her own company. My daughter got into the game. I've always played. So it's just been around me, right? And then I think when I caught the bug was probably when I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life. When I was in grade 6, you had to do a career project. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I did entrepreneur. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So that was my project. So I've always known from there. The first, I've always done little companies, as a kid, clean the backyard type stuff.
You did clean up, like landscape or that kind of,
put flyers out to the neighborhood. So I always did that as a kid. I think the first legit company I started was, it was right when the internet took off in 98. And I started a company called Webbit, and it built websites for businesses. So it was really early days. And I literally got the phone book and started calling all the Hamilton businesses and said, hey, would you like a website? And half of them I had to teach what a website was at that time, right? And so that was my first one, Webbit.
Wow. I thought you were going to say, because I heard a rumor that one of your first businesses was selling guitar picks.
I did do that too. So that wasn't my first, but it was called Bread Clips.
Bread Clips.
And I'll explain why Bread Clips. But it was a monthly subscription service for guitar players where we mailed guitar picks to guitar players. And every month had a theme. So one month would be like a carnival. So we'd have 5 guitar picks with carnival type, like the Fun House, Mindbuster, or different rides at a carnival. So guitar picks for guitar players. But the reason it was called Bread Clips is when I was a teenager and I played guitar, and you didn't have a guitar pick, you used to go get the clip that used to keep the bread closed.
Yeah.
You'd get that and you'd snap it in half, and it became a guitar pick. So you had 2 guitar picks for every bread clip that you had. So that was, we used to do, or the milk bag, that little plastic thing, right?
Yeah.
And then they ruined it all, and that's not in plastic anymore. Now it's in cardboard.
Right.
So it doesn't function the same way.
Too bad.
But yeah, that wasn't my first company.
You
but
beat the Dollar Shave Club to the subscription service there.
Exactly.
It sounds like so.
Labor of love. It didn't make a single dollar. Just I did it because I loved it, and it was fun. And me and a graphic artist every week used to get together and come up with a theme and get these guitar picks made. It was fun. A lot of fun.
You know, it's funny. I think entrepreneurism is a labor of love, right? I remember my first business was making pants, like these stupid tie pants, I called them. They had a 52-inch waist, but
52-inch waist.
Yeah, they were like mod robes. They had drawstrings on the back, and you had to tie them up around the waist.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
They're very flattering.
Yeah.
Very flattering pants.
Okay. All right.
But unfortunately, I'm not a clothing designer, and every single one of them ripped in the crotch.
Really?
Yeah, they had a huge design malfunction.
Design flaw.
I've still got a couple hundred pairs in my garage if you're interested.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but like what you just said there, I didn't make any money. I actually cashed out my RSP to my dad's dismay to buy pants.
Oh, really? Oh,
but when did you first start making money? Like, what was the first business where you're like, whoa, I could actually see myself capitalizing?
Yeah, so that Webbit company, we made websites and we did all right. It was okay. But in that, I met a mortgage broker at a local BNI breakfast meeting, and at the time he approached me and said, hey, I have this database of clients that I want to stay in contact with, and would you write me a program that does that? And so I was into software. I had a software buddy, and him and I wrote the first CRM for mortgage brokers in Canada, and the company was called In Contact. And when I originally wrote it for this one mortgage broker, it was a local Hamilton mortgage broker. Shout out Paul Watmore. I wrote it for him, and then he said to me, hey, I was 22 at the time, and he said, you want to start a company together? And I said, sure. And that's how In Contact started.
Wow.
And we literally, like the old, it was at the time called Camp, but the industry directory was a physical book.
Wow.
And I literally picked up built the software to help mortgage brokers. Is that your heating system? How's the mortgage business really doing, Brad?
Yeah, it's amazing. We prioritize around here, Rich. That's people's fundings come first.
That was planted, by the way. I would never normally say that, but so what we did was I sold that software to mortgage brokers, and I literally started calling every mortgage broker in the country. I must have dialed 5,000 to 6,000 times and sold our software to mortgage brokers. Said, hi, this is Rich Spence from In Contact Software. We are the CRM software for mortgage brokers. Would you like us to show you how we can help you grow your business by using our CRM directly connected to your mortgage business, right? And ran that, and that started to make money. That was the first time I really made money.
It's a common theme. You said that just from Webbit to In Contact to even like the childhood businesses, you call people. Like you're not afraid to call, to get on the phone. Like you understand, I think if you have a great idea but nobody knows about it, it's useless, right? So
and it really is, and I see this now because I see my kids in this and they do everything to avoid that phone call, right? But that is the greatest weapon in business.
What do you say then? Because we run into that resistance sometimes when we're training other sales professionals. They say calling people is outdated now.
It's not.
Fair. Done. So what do I believe do? That too. Yeah. Right? So it's
a couple of things, like when we hire on salespeople, and it's it's of that generation that won't do it. I literally like book a full day, and we stick a phone between the two of us, and pull a list up, and I dial the first one, and I do the first one, and I do the second one, I do the third one, I do the first one, and then on the fourth or fifth one, I said, okay, your turn, and we just do it, and we make maybe 50 dials together until that fear is gone.
Wow.
Right, because it really is a fear, right?
Yep.
Right, and especially if you look at the kids and the people who were in high school and college during COVID, right? They really like grew up in an era where they didn't talk to people, they didn't see people, wasn't that belly to belly stuff. But we grew up in a different era, right?
Right.
So they think it's Teams meetings and Zoom meetings, and I mean that's part of your arsenal. But at the end of the day, like when it comes to selling, and you know this, right? People make an emotional decision and then use logic to justify the emotional decision they already made, right? So if you have to get that emotional connection, you have to hear that tone of voice, you have to understand why they're not doing something or not moving, and you're not going to do that over email or a text.
I love that. That is so powerful, right? Like people use the emotion to justify the decision, right?
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
they'll build all the logic around it. That's
Absolutely.
great.
I can go left. I emotionally want to go left. All the logic points left.
Of course.
I want to go. You want to go right.
Yeah.
All the logic points to right, because you justify your emotional decision with logic.
I got another question for you, because you said something, and I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs today. Entrepreneurism looks. I keep saying that word. I think I'm saying it. Entrepreneurism.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks easy.
Yeah.
Today, right?
Yeah.
You said when Paul said let's partner, you
Yeah.
were doing Webbit, and then you ended up partnering with Con. What do you look for in a partner today? Because you today, or what did you look for in a partnership there?
Yeah.
Versus what do you look for today when you're thinking about actually going into business with somebody?
Oh, I think it's in different stages. I mean, different partners at different times, I would say, and it depends on what you're good at. Always looking for a partner where you're weak is probably where I would go, right? So at that time, I was full of ambition, and I would run through a brick wall, right? I had no money.
Brick house, Rich.
Yeah, brick house. Yeah. Right. I just had energy, right? I was young. I was ambitious. I was hungry. Yes, I would call 5,000 people because I needed to, right? I didn't have any money, and I didn't think strategically. And Paul was a little older. He was more established. He had capital to invest in the company, and he thought strategically, right? Where now I'm Paul, right? I'm the old guy. I got a little bit of money. I can think strategically. My partner, I'm looking for a 25-year-old person who is ambitious and hungry and young and thinks differently and thinks about AI and technology in a different way than me. So different times in my life, it's a different type of partner.
I love that. I think sometimes people get too preoccupied with the capital part where they think you need to be 50-50 in everything. Mm-hmm. But you're right. There's a lot of value when you're older. Yeah. If you have capital and not a lot of time versus I have a lot of time energy. And no capital. Yeah.
Energy, man. I mean, at that age, I could do like I'd be up at 5. I'd go to 5. I'd between 5 and 8. Nobody could get me. I was with my kids and I was with my wife, and that was my family time. But then by 8 until midnight, I'd go again. I can't do that anymore. 8 o'clock, I'm out, right? I'm out, right?
Well,
right?
I think you're still up at 5, Rich. I think you're still up at 5. I know you, right?
That second shift between 8 and midnight's not happening anymore.
I call that the chamomile tea shift for me. It's a nice chamomile tea.
Put your sweater on, zone downtime. Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Life does change at certain ages of your life. Yeah.
But like for you and I, the partner we would look for, we're not looking for a money partner. We're not looking for a strategic. I mean, there's always strategic people who are smarter and better and done things. They're and those are good advisors, right? I don't think partners, but a partner for you and I is somebody with the energy and ambition to go. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So a question for you now, like you ended up starting with Webbit, In Contact, became very good, very popular, right?
Yeah.
I see lots of people, especially in our mortgage business today, where people start in the mortgage business full of that piss and vinegar, that ambition, but they're never thinking 20 years down the road thinking, am I going to sell this business? How am I going to transition this business? Am I just going to close the doors?
Yeah.
What did you learn about exiting a business within Contact, and when did you decide that it was the right time to do it?
So I think I learned from mistakes. So I look back, and if I were, what I would have done differently is there's two things. One, exiting a business is all about your earnings. So being very conscious of the net earnings. So your buyer is buying a multiple of that earnings, right? So another way of looking at it is revenue. And Gary Morris, the CEO of DLCG, when he's talking to us a lot, is he'll say revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and it's so powerful, right?
Revenue is vanity.
Vanity. Profit is sanity, right?
That's great.
And in exiting a business, it's the same thing, right? If you're chasing revenue, and there's some unicorns that would defy this logic, like when you think of like the tech companies, and there are those things, right? But a regular boring business that we kind of do, it's all about earnings, and you're selling a multiple.
And I think we get disillusioned with that too, because we see Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, and we see these massive revenues, and you see it's almost glamorized that you can lose money for 7, 8, 9 years for that revenue. Most of us can't do that.
No, and we get sucked into those stories. I mean, it's engaging. It's like it's that Rocky Balboa, it's that Cinderella, that unicorn story, right? And you're like, wow, the one guy took it all the way and didn't make a single dollar of profit and sold for $1 billion, right? Like those are unicorns, right? So, but regular business. So I learned that. I also learned I burnt out. Like I really did. I went across the country. I was on planes. I was grinding it out like during the day, time with the family, and at night I totally burnt out. And at the end, Brian, I would have sold for a cup of coffee and a warm bed, right? Like I was so tired, right? It was just to the bone. Like I can still feel it, some of it, right? And later in life, I picked up the book by Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time.
Great book.
And he talks about, like, there's a chapter, and I'm like getting chills as I talk about it. There's a chapter in there where he's describing my mindset, is that if you don't buy back your time with outsourcing things that you can get done for a cheaper rate than doing it yourself, you will burn out and sell. And I did. And because I touched everything. I started at 22 years old, and I thought I was the guy who needed to run the credit cards. I was the guy who needed to execute on the email. I was the guy who needed to do the report on the monthly basis. I should have outsourced all that to an admin assistant at $40,000, $50,000 a year and spent more time selling from stage. And that company would still be here today if I had done that. So that was the one mistake, and I exited because I was exhausted.
Wow. Thanks for your honesty on that. That's wild. It's funny because I think in our world with mortgage brokers and mortgage agents, I remember a point in time where, when mortgage rules were a little bit looser, doing me and one assistant doing almost 300 transactions, 400 transactions a year, going crazy and thinking to myself, I don't want another damn person to call me and ask for a mortgage. Yeah. And I'm like, why am I thinking why would I even have that thought? And it's because that I wasn't leveraging myself appropriately. And I find that in our business too. Sometimes people don't get that assistant quick enough. Yeah. And then you get tired, and then you find yourself saying, I don't want any more business. Yeah. Mortgage brokers, any business you're in, you'll find it's a control, right? You always think, and again, if anyone's in that moment right now, go buy back your time. DM Brian. Yeah, I'll send it to you. He will send it to you with a card. I'm telling you that will stop you, right? Because you if somebody can do it 80% as well as you, that is 100% better than you doing it yourself. That was a game changer for me because I think too we're perfectionists, we're entrepreneurs, and we're the best at everything. Sure, right? Absolutely. Where we think we are. Yeah. But the reality is that if someone can do it 80% is good. That's amazing. That's amazing. A huge amount of leverage. Amazing. No one's going to do it 100% because if they did, they'd be you. Yeah. They'd be doing it too. Yeah, and there's areas of your business, but like a lot of brokers, and they'll ask me, what part do I outsource, right? And in the mortgage process, there's like 5 parts to a mortgage transaction, and I just basically say, which ones bring you joy, and which ones do you hate doing?
And within 2 seconds, everybody knows that answer. Like, you think of your own business right now.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy? What do you don't? If you lean into what you enjoy, your business will double in size. You will love going to work. And if you outsource all the stuff you don't like doing, it's great. It's better for the customer. There's somebody who loves compliance. There's somebody out there that loves doing paperwork and stapling it together and making sure, or whatever, doing it online, whatever. They love it. And you hate it.
Right.
So hire somebody to do it. Right.
I love that. Talking about Mortgage Center, recruitment, building up the business there.
Yeah.
I'm curious because you do a great job. Like, we met through Mortgage Center.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And became good friends throughout the process. Right.
Yeah.
How, I'm curious as to like what tactics do you use now to, recruit, retain people as well too, because recruitment's one thing, retention's another.
Yeah.
Right. Because how many people do you have in Mortgage Center right now?
Just over 2,900 agents across the country.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, 160 franchisees. So I think like there's a couple of tactics, but I think overall, what I would say is your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like, so overall, who you are as a person, how you put yourself out into the world, you are going to connect with and attract that type of person, right? So that is one of the most effective tools, right? And you see it with your company in Mission 35, right? Like, you're excited, you're connected to the community, you care about your people's growth personally and in business, right? And you attract, if you look at Mission 35 agents, you look all around. They're good people. They're connected to their community. They care about their families. They care about their clients, right? So your vibe is attracting, right? So that for sure, that'd be one.
Did it take you a while to find your vibe, Rich? In the sense, because I think some people try to might struggle with like who am I, or try to cast too big of a net.
Yeah. Yes and no. I think when I first started Mortgage Center, like as the president of Mortgage Center, like you go through this little moment of like, holy shit, I swore.
So
now we gotta do explicit.
It's okay. Trust me.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all good.
No, you go through this like little moment of like, oh, who am I to be the president? Well, can I do this? Or who am I? What do I have to say? Right. So yeah, there's definitely
like the imposter syndrome.
Yeah. You like, I think everybody goes through that, right? And I went through it too, right? So you finding my feet, right? But what I really learned over time is, and this is just in everything, is one, I always tell the truth. Mainly because I'm getting old now and I can't remember a lie if I were to tell it. So the truth is always the truth.
Yeah.
You never have to remember the truth, right? Yeah. So that'd be one, right? And honestly, just be yourself, right? Like authentic. Like everybody puts their pants on like everybody else, right? So it did take me some time, right? But there is that when you start something new, it's like, oh my God, like, can I do this? Am I sure? Right? Yeah. So it did take some time to get there.
I like what you said at the beginning when we were chatting before the camera's on there too, where it's just about when you ask a qualifying question, when you're looking for the people that are part of your tribe. If they're not part of your tribe, it's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just next. It's kind of like, it's not rejection. I find too often people sometimes in the sales role take it personally. Yeah. Where it's just like, okay, next.
Yeah, I know. And if you try to hold on to or bring in something that doesn't work, it becomes cancerous. Whether it's staff, client, like my wife's an entrepreneur. She's been in photography for a while and is transitioning into nutritionist. And she would have clients and she'd know, hey, I shouldn't take this client on. You have clients, you shouldn't take on, but you take it on, right? And it's okay to let them go, right? Or a mortgage broker doesn't work here, right? It doesn't work. We don't connect, right? It's time to move on, right? So it's okay to let them go and move on, right?
Yeah.
But the techniques on recruiting and retaining, there's probably two that I use most frequently. One being a rhythm chart. So what a rhythm chart is, and I use this for retaining my clients and for prospecting new ones. A rhythm chart is very, very simple. Is the first column is all your customers or all your prospects, and the next 12 columns are the months of the year. And it is on the first of the month, you come into the spreadsheet and you do something every month with those people. It could be send them a text, send them an email, give them a phone call, send a gift, set up a one-on-one meeting, and you just consistently do that all the time. Your customers will never leave you. Your referral sources, your prospects over time will come to you. So those two would be, that would be my number one tool.
I love that.
And of my prospects that I've put on, I convert probably between 20 and 25% every year just using that. 20
to 25%
every year.
And how long have you been using the rhythm chart for?
7 years. I was taught to me by our CEO. So the rhythm chart, and this can be used for anything. So for example, I say to my kids, they're in university, where do you want to work? Name the 7 companies you want to work at. Put the 7 companies on the list. Every single month, do something to the HR manager or the vice president or the president of that company until you get an interview. And it'll work. Send them a book one month. Connect with them on LinkedIn on the next month. Send them an email the next month. Say, I was thinking about you on this month. So it works in anything. Anything. So give it to your daughter.
Lila, you are going to hear this in about 4 years, okay? I think she rhythm charts me with a new Nintendo Switch, to be honest.
It's funny because one time we were sitting around and the kids challenged me on it. They said, there's no way. And I said, name anybody in the world. And we never did it, right? But I think I'm going to try to do it. They were like, name anybody in the world. I bet you I could get their attention in a year. Right? And they were like, Grant Cardone. I said, okay, I'll put Grant Cardone on my rhythm chart and I'll get it. Well, we never executed on it. And you know what? I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to put him on it. Right?
Yeah.
I bet you I get his attention in a year.
I bet you could too.
Yeah. It's like, send Grant Cardone a book.
Well, based on your stats, it might be in 4 years, right? 25%. So,
maybe,
I'm not a math guy, Rich, but it might be.
But there's things you can do. Right?
You know what? That shows just such persistence, right? It's the persistence and the discipline of doing the non-sexy thing of having it. And it doesn't happen, like you said, overnight. Over 7 years, turning that into, 2,900 agents.
Yeah.
Right?
And where we started, so just to give you that perspective, where we started, when I started was we were 1,300 agents.
Wow.
And $8 billion in annual volume. This year we'll do $28 billion. With 2,900, so it works. It's a slow grind.
If you have the vision and the discipline for the time, right? Because the things don't work. And I even talked to you about this. Rhythm trying to say it's not working yet, and it's like, well, you've been doing it for a year, Brian.
Right?
Like you've been doing it for. You keep doing it.
But the next part of that is so you have the rhythm chart, right? The next tool that you asked me to, the second one, is emotional connection with people. On that rhythm chart, right? So for example, on the rhythm chart, if I have 10 prospects and I barf at them the value of Mortgage Center every single month, that's not an emotional connection. Mm-hmm. That is not authentic. They don't care. They feel like I am selling them, right? But and you can't fake authentic connection though. You can't fake it, right? So if I'm following someone on Facebook and they show a picture of their cat, and to them it's special. I don't care about cats. I'm not a cat person, right? I can't make a comment about, hey, that's the cutest cat in the world, and that's because it's not an authentic connection, right? I'm a dog person, right? So, for example, I'll tell you one. I was going after a prospect, and I am a dog person. So, this prospect's dog passed away, and so I took a picture of the dog and made a frame. And you ever heard the poem The Bridge?
No, The Bridge.
So the bridge is about when a pet dies, it goes to kind of like pet purgatory, where it's running around, it's hanging out, and when you die, you're reunited with the pet.
Wow.
So I sent it to this prospect. Well, she's part of Mortgage Center now, just letting you know, but that was an authentic connection. When her dog passed away, I sent her that picture of her dog with that poem in a frame and gave it to her. And it's authentic because my dog died and somebody gave me that poem with a picture of my dog, right? So I know how it feels, right? And it is a prospect. And yes, I am trying to move them along, but I really did connect with that woman at that moment about that because I felt that, right? So when you're doing a rhythm chart and you're connecting with prospect, you still have to keep it human. You still have to keep it emotional, right?
Do you ever take someone off your rhythm chart because you just You're just like, you're not my vibe. You're not my
Yeah. So say I'm always building towards, let's have a coffee, let's connect, right? Even if I don't know them, right?
Right.
So like I want to connect with Grant Cardone, but I don't think I would. Once I did, he's not my vibe, right? Like he's.
Now you're playing hard to get. Yeah, I see what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's just not my thing, right? Right. So, but you know what I mean? Like like yes, I would, because it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So for mortgage agents out there,
yes,
because I'm sure a lot are listening right now, what is the biggest thing that you would see for new mortgage agents right now that they might be doing wrong? If you're a brand new mortgage agent, or maybe even a realtor in the industry, someone in that commission-based world.
Yeah, well, a couple things. Well, just in the mortgage space, when you first come to be a mortgage agent or broker, or this counts for bankers when they come over, they get so enamored with the amount of lenders and the products, and I need to learn everything, and I got to know every answer, and they spend time in analysis, and they master their craft before connecting with the community, and they'll burn through 6 months to a year not doing a deal or not putting themselves out there because they think that they need to know every single answer before, right? And they fail because they run out of money, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
my coach calls that majoring in minor things.
Right. And like coming to Mission 35, right? Like if I were to go out and get a client and I convince somebody that they want to do business with me and I get their mortgage details, I could always come to Brian and say, hey, Brian, I don't know where this goes, right?
What do I do?
Yeah, what do I do? It's a commercial deal. I've never done a commercial deal. Oh my God, this guy was bankrupt. What do I do? Like, you know what I mean? This guy has 10 rentals. How do I do this, right? Like so there's always an answer, right? So at the beginning, focusing on understanding everything, that would be one mistake. And then the second mistake for rookies is not prospecting, is not calling, is it's hard. That phone, I'm telling you, I did it. That phone feels like 4,000 pounds when you don't like doing that, right? But you got to do it. You got to do eat your frog, Brian Tracy, the concept.
Yeah.
Eat your frog first, make those 10 calls every day, and then go do something, right? Do your direct messages. You're not going to win by doing a Facebook post and then 100 people are going to run to you and do mortgages with you or buy a house from you, right?
Right.
You got to work it. You got to work it.
I love that. It's true, right? And seeing it through the ages and stages and generations of different business, no matter what business you're in. Like we've talked about the same thing 3 times now because it's a staple. It's a foundation. It's doing that work. What would you say is for seasoned mortgage agents? Because you see a lot of seasoned people as well too, right? What is probably the top 1 or 2 things that
a seasoned broker is
doing wrong?
The Dan Martell, the buy back your time. I would definitely see that is they get to a point where, and this is not like some seasoned people, they're happy. They're a $50 million producer, and that's what they want to do, right? And they're happy, right? But if you want to scale, you can't do everything yourself. I know you did to get where you are because out of necessity you needed to do it all yourself, right? Is scale your team, right? Is you talk to clients and then you hire an underwriter. You talk to clients and somebody else does the paperwork. You don't have to do every single part of the process, right? Scale your business. So the larger brokers hit a glass ceiling because they won't scale their team. They feel like they need to do it themselves.
It's that control.
Yeah.
Right? I see that a lot too with people that are, they've had great success, right? But what got you to where you are is not the same skill that's going to get you to where you want to go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
you got to scale. You got to scale your team at the seasoned broker. And then there's also some are reluctant to move with the technology, right? And that would be another one, right? Like AI is not going anywhere. Adopt it now, right? Learn how to use it. Don't wait 10 years, right? You're talking to clients, email's okay, but you got to text them, right? I always tell this story. My son has a cell phone that I pay for, okay? If I call him, there is a 100% chance he's not picking up that phone, okay? If I text him, 99% chance he's ghosting me, okay? But if I Snapchat him, he's all in. We're going back and forth, we're connecting, right? Same kid, same phone, same moment in time, but I'm not speaking to him where he's at, right? So email might work for you, but that client texting is what they like. Learn texting, Send text.
Right.
You know what I mean? Meet them where they are. Right.
Well, you brought up AI there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are thinking about AI right now, scaling businesses. I'm going to get left behind. I've got to use AI. Like, do I get an avatar of Brian and get him to sell everything? Like, you know, I've seen some amazing mortgage videos right now in our industry right now with people doing, I think it's hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see this going in our industry for AI, like with mortgages, and in the next 1 to 3 years, and how can we best utilize it?
Yeah, I think like the initial stages is, I kind of think of it like you're a mortgage broker and you're doing your job, and now let's put a jetpack on you, right? AI is the jetpack. It just gets you faster, better, easier to go from point A to point B, right? So you're writing a client email, and you can tool over it for an hour, or you can use AI in 3 minutes to make it nice, right?
Yeah.
You need to convert it to a different language. Use AI to convert it to a different language, right? So you're still writing the client an email, but you're using that as the jetpack to make it better. You're creating a submission note to a lender, and you want a compelling story to the lender. You can sit there and tool over it for 3-4 hours, or you can use AI in 2 seconds and get you so it's, you know what I'm saying? It's those things, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So that would be the immediate, right? I think a little longer term, you'll get tools that help you analyze documents, identify fraud, help you underwrite a deal, right? So that you'll have those automation, right? And then I think the entire process of generating an application, I don't think it'll be like physical typing anymore. I think it'll be like, here's the MLS, here's the agreement of purchase sale, here's the passport, here's the bank statement, application's done, right? Underwriting suggestions are done. What do you want to do, Mr. Broker, right? What I never think will be replaced, like you talked about the avatar, people smell that 100 miles away. And I'm telling you, me, my kids, the next generation, nobody is going to trust an avatar. I want to call Brian. I've done a lot of transactions. I have some rental properties. I've bought a few homes, sold a few homes. And I love technology. I'm all in. But before I lift a condition of financing on a deal, I'm calling Brian and saying, Brian, am I okay? I know I'm okay, but I want you to hold my hand and tell me I'm okay. So the emotional intelligence and connection between human and human, AI is not going to replace.
I have to agree with that. I think we're going into a next generation where the human touch will be even more important, because to your point, like the amount of fraud we see in our industry, the amount of fraud there is in the world, like I'm somewhat excited to see the fraud I'm going to get in the next 5 to 10 years, because it'll be outstanding.
Yeah.
Right? But that will make me want to reach out to a human being even more.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll need it, right? It's scary. It's buying your first house, buying your second house, buying your first rental, vacation property. No amount of technology is going to make a person feel comfortable doing that.
So talking about homes, the housing market today, let's talk about that a little bit, because that's a fun topic right now, the housing market.
Yeah.
Dialing it back a bit, when did you buy your first house? You know, because you're a real estate investor, you've got your house. Tell me about your first house and when you bought it.
I bought my first house in 2000. Center of Hamilton. It was on back the old days. If you know the north end stands of Ivor Wynn, it's on a street called Melrose.
I know Melrose. I parked there on somebody's lawn and paid them $20.
It was probably my house.
Okay,
because I needed the $20 to cover the rent.
Hamilton's got great entrepreneurs, I'm saying right there.
Oh, yeah. So Tie-Cat Games out. Yeah, so I was there. So my first house was a duplex. I needed the income. I was just getting by, right? So my first home was a duplex. My wife and I renovated it and lived like that as a duplex for 5 years.
How old were you when you bought it?
About 2000. I was 26.
Wow.
Yeah, 26. Yeah.
And was it hard when you got that like first house? Was it a struggle to get it?
Oh my God, it was that was the moon, bro. It was like, are you kidding? I still remember, it was $126,000. It could have been $10 million to me. It was like I didn't have the money, right? I was starting with the software company at the time. My wife she was my girlfriend at the time, and she had a great job at Tim Hortons. She worked, and so it was because of her we qualified, right?
Right.
And I had a renter to help cover the bills, and I still remember like getting the first. So it was an old house, had rads, radiators, a boiler, right?
Yep.
And then all the windows were they were pretty much like sieves, like the wind just like blew through it, right?
My first house was a duplex as well, and my dad, you'll appreciate this, helped me put vapor barrier up on the windows, right?
I still remember when I put
because I couldn't afford drapes or I couldn't afford windows.
I did the same thing. And I didn't know how bad it was. When you put those vapor barriers on, and the moment you seal it, the vapor barrier pops because the wind is like coming at you. So I had that, right? So, but anyways, we did that for a long time, for 5 years, and that was my first home. Yeah.
Wow. So because it's funny, we hear about all the adversity today to buy a house.
Yeah.
Right. And I know it's different today than it was 25 years ago. But when you bought it, do you remember what your first rate was, or how much you put down on it?
It was with ING, and it was 7.1.
7.1.
Yeah,
right?
ING Direct.
Wow. And then what was your? Did you put down 5% or 10% back then?
I think we put down 5, which was a gift from my dad, right?
Wow.
So it was I think too, when buying a first home, right? And with my friends, I think my friends were a little bit well off more, and they bought in Stony Creek. I was like downtown Hamilton, and I had to do duplex, right? And I didn't have the resources, right? So that's if there's first time buyers watching, is your journey is not necessarily somebody else's journey, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Somebody might have mom and dad's money or grandma and grandpa's money, and you don't have it, right? And you gotta save for 5 years, and your first home's probably not going to be in the best part of town, and it'll be a duplex, and it'll drive you crazy that the renter's playing music at 11 o'clock at night, or they're having somebody in their cars in your driveway, and or they're in their backyard when you were going to have your parents over for dinner, and
right.
and guess what? That's what you got to go through to get started.
It builds so many qualities, though, right? Like when I look at you, you're a resilient, disciplined, hardworking guy. To go through that sacrifice, just seems normal. Yeah, it's just part of the process. Yeah. I'm quite certain you're not on Melrose right now.
No, we're not.
And nothing wrong with Melrose. It's a beautiful street, actually.
And that's I'll tell you a mistake that I did on that, and you can learn from that, is I sold my first home to buy my second. I should never have done that. I should have leveraged the equity, taken that money out, bought the house I'm in now, and left that as a rental. That was one of the biggest wealth mistakes that I have ever done, and if I could go back in time, I would change that.
So, on to real estate investment here. Yeah. You are also an author.
It's not published yet, but yes.
You wrote a book, Rich.
I did write a book.
That's an author in my book.
Yeah, okay.
And I love the premise. The title is Buy on Baltic.
Buy on Baltic.
Right?
Yeah.
And the whole idea is, I love Monopoly. I actually have the most recent Monopoly. I play with Lila.
Yeah.
You can build skyscrapers in the latest one.
What?
You can build skyscrapers. You can put...
Is that the digital one, or is it...
No, it's still a board game.
Okay. And there's skyscrapers. Is there a different plastic...
There's a plastic tower that's like 5 houses stacked on each other. You know what else you can do?
Anybody watching, I want this for Christmas. So.
You can even put adverse things on people's property, like to alleviate rent. So I can put a prison on your property, or a power plant, or a waste facility.
Really?
Yeah, and then you can't collect rent, or you can build a park or a stadium on top to protect. It is the levels on it now.
Oh, I gotta see this.
I'm telling you. So I've got Lila playing it at night.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
She loves it. So anyways.
Yeah.
Buy on Baltic, live on St. James.
Yes.
And vacation on Boardwalk.
Yeah, that's kind of the tagline. Yes.
So tell me about your philosophy with it too.
Well, my fascination with Monopoly is that goes back a long time. My buddies and I, we used to Saturday nights. We used to watch the Leafs on Saturday nights, but we'd play Monopoly while we were watching it, right? And we just loved it. It was a guys' night. It was Saturday nights, right? And I learned playing Monopoly and real estate investing on those Saturday nights. And when you play Monopoly over time, when you play with the same guys, everyone has like their own affinity to a certain product, right? Like I always like St. James, like I like the yellows, right? I love that. Somebody guy always was a boardwalk guy, and then there's always, so you would, if I landed on say boardwalk, I didn't want it, but I'd buy it because I know later Brian wants it and I'm gonna trade it with Brian, right? Yeah, so over time on Monopoly, okay, I loved Baltic and Mediterranean.
Me too.
Right, because around go, you know what it was? I was just silly, but you know when you get $200 for passing go? I loved when somebody passed go and then landed on it and had to give that $200 to me, right?
Yeah.
So that
Well, that's only if you put hotels on it, right?
Yeah.
Because it was, it was $2 and $4.
But you could put hotels really cheap on it, right?
And
So-
everybody had money to pay you.
Yeah.
I like many, because you know what? If you were on Boardwalk and someone landed on it, you might have bankrupted them.
that's the
and then you didn't even get the money.
I know, but that's a different victory of a different. When you bankrupt somebody in board, it's awesome, right?
Oh, fair.
But anyway,
fair enough,
so
fair enough.
I used to buy that for the rent. So I bought Baltic and Mediterranean to get the rent, right? St. James and Tennessee and New York. St. James, New York. Those yellows.
Yep. Tennessee.
I just loved those. I just loved that. So my philosophy in life has just been buy my rentals in Baltic on that cheaper side, Class B, Class C type properties. Live on St. James, which is middle of the board, well within your means. You're not spending too much money, but vacation in the best parts of the world, right?
Yeah.
So you can blow the money in the vacation, right? But if you live on Boardwalk, you're over your means. Like you ever watch a guy who plays Monopoly and owns Boardwalk? They only own Boardwalk because they can't afford anything else, right? Because they spend all their money in the hotels on Boardwalk, which is the most expensive. So when you live on Park Place and Boardwalk, it's expensive, right? So live middle of the road, vacation at the top end, but buy your rentals on Baltic.
Buy the book. I gotta tell you, that is brilliant. It is so. I resonate with that again as a huge Monopoly. What I want to ask too on it is, we talked a little bit about real estate investment.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Is it still a good time to buy a rental property? And would you invest today, or what would you invest in today for real estate?
It's always a good time to buy real estate. But what you buy and at what price is really what determines it, right? So, I'm very, very disciplined on when I buy real estate, and when I tell you how the math I do in my head, you'll go, you can't find properties like that, and you can, right? So, when I look at a real estate investment, I look at money as an opportunity to invest, right? So if I invest $100,000. All 100,000 of that should be making me money, right? So if I buy a property at 100% financed, I won't 100% finance, but in my mind, at 100% finance, it better at least break even or make money. Another way of putting it for the real estate investors is 2 to 3% above the cap rate of a property. That's what you should be buying at. And and anybody who's in real estate investment, they're going to listen to this and go, oh my God, where do you find these unicorns, right? Yeah. Back in the day, it was very easy. They were all over the place, right? I had Hamilton, St. Catharines, even Toronto, you could find that, right? That ended probably 10 years ago. Then I moved to Atlantic Canada. I didn't physically move. I started buying out there. And that, to this day, is... You have to be at the right moment at the right time, but you can still find that, right? So you got to look outside your neighborhood.
Right. And I think it comes down to the discipline. How many deals would you look at before you actually pull the trigger on one?
I'd say 100 before you pull on one.
So it's the same fundamentals, which is funny, right? You're dialing 100 people to get the sale. You're looking at 100 deals to get the deal. Like it's
frustrating. And believe me, it is frustrating. It's not. There was one period where I was looking at, when everything was going up, and it was. I looked at 100. I didn't even find that one, right? And you're just like, oh my God! Then you question your principles of investing when that happens, right? He's like, am I looking for a unicorn? Does it really exist? You're out to lunch, you don't know what you're doing, right?
I think it comes down to too, but should it be easy? Like, I think that's the fundamental problem sometimes is that like building a business and selling it like in Contact was hard, almost burnt you out.
Yeah.
You know, building Mortgage Center is hard.
Yeah.
Finding real estate investments is difficult.
Yeah.
But you still do it because that's how you create the wealth and that's how you build things.
And you got to take risks. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like not taking a risk in anything in life is the risk.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
We should just cut it right there, Rich. That was actually
Sorry.
really good.
Okay, we'll cut that back later.
No, that's really good. Yeah, we'll use that at the end there. Not taking a risk. It's true, though.
Is the
It's
risk.
very true.
Is it? I mean,
I couldn't agree more.
think about, like, you know, it's funny. I'll share this story is because this is entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
So my kids were, 12, 11, 10, something at that age, and we're having the conversation at the dinner table about university, about going to school, and we're implanting into them that they need to go to school and learn, and my wife is really like leaning into it, and I'm saying nothing. I'm absolutely not saying a word, right? And she looks at me. She goes, "Are you not gonna like get in on this with me, right?" And I go, "No, you're doing fine. It's okay, right?" And then she got tweaked a little, right? Because it's like, why are you not jumping in on it? I said, "Do you really want my opinion on this, right?" And she goes, "Yeah, I do." And it was like, okay, it wasn't about the kids anymore. It was about her and I, right? And I turned to the kids and I said, "You don't need university." I said, every entrepreneur I know, and the best ones who are billionaires, none of them finished high school. I says, it's what you do every single day. It's the risk you take. It's how hard you're going to grind that's going to make you successful in life. It's not the education, right? So take the risk, grind it out, you will win. That's not the education that's going to get you. Needless to say, I had to take my wife out for dinner a couple days later.
Okay, so now our kids aren't going to university, but
they're both in university. But I'm not against education, but it really isn't the education that's going to get you ahead.
Well, it's not like a golden ticket. It's not like you go to university and you're guaranteed a job. You're guaranteed an amazing life. You're guaranteed something beautiful. It's a tool in your toolbox that you can use, but it's not a guarantee, right?
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that story. We're going to wrap it up here. I got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
All right. One skill that you would say is the number one thing in sort of being that brick house, like being that in the foundation, in the characteristics of a human being, what would the one skill be that is required?
Authentic. Be yourself. People can feel it. You're a good person, right? Just be yourself. Connect with, and if you are, you will connect with people. So be authentic.
Number one book that everyone needs to read.
You sent me this. There's 2. Can I do that? No,
I'm just kidding. Of course you can.
There's 2.
Of course you can.
One's on finance and one's on relationships.
Okay.
So relationships, 5 languages of love. So the concept of the book is people. There are 5 different languages of love. How people feel love, and your language might not be the same as your partner's. So don't speak to your partner in the language that resonates with you. Speak to them in the language that resonates with them.
Right.
Because when they feel loved, they will return love to you in return. It's a very good book on relationships, okay? And then the principles, every finance book, every solid principle in finance starts from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. So it's a very short, small, but there's like 7 principles in that book. You want to build wealth, your kids can read it. It's like a parable story about the richest man in Babylon, and he's traveling, and so those 2 books would be
Rich Man. I've read the Love Languages one. Love that book. That is actually great. I gotta read it again, I think.
Yeah.
And I haven't read The Richest Man in Babylon.
So the concept to save 10%.
Yeah.
That the originator is rich man in Babylon. That's where it started. Right.
Last one here. Truth or brick is what we play here. So is it truth or is it a brick in the foundation of life that you want to modify?
Okay.
Real estate. This was the last one here.
Yep.
Real estate is the number 1 wealth builder for Canadians today. Is that truth, or do you think that should be modified a little bit?
Modified to say, if done properly.
Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, Rich Spence. Rich, thanks so much for taking the time. You're a busy guy. I'm grateful to work with you, grateful to be your friend, and grateful to for this time together. So thanks for sharing everything,
Thank you.
man.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
It's great.